Hey guys, this is me, Kevin Murphy, on my channel called Narcissistic Abuse, Learning Who I Am Again. In this video, I'm going to talk about how the narcissist is created. So, generally, the narcissist may have had a parent or two parents or a caregiver that was narcissistic, who was abusive physically, mentally, and psychologically. The narcissist doesn't come out of the womb narcissistic and self-centered. That narcissist has learned from that parent or that caregiver that it's okay to exploit people financially. It's okay to be nasty and mean to people. They have this was their template, so they are mirroring the actual narcissistic caregiver. So it gets passed down from generation to generation to generation. So this narcissist has seen that, oh, mom financially exploiting dad, it works for her, so I'm going to do the same thing to, I'm going to do the same thing to my husband, or I'm going to do the same thing to my wife. And the narcissist stays stuck. So that narcissist knows that this parent's behavior, to some degree, they know that the parent's behavior is wrong. They know that the parent's behavior is totally off base. But for survival, that narcissist has learned to mimic and mirror that parent. That narcissist wants their kids to be just like them. They want them to mirror everything because the narcissist likes having mini-me's. It's a form of narcissistic supply. Your current narcissist has learned that if they showed any kind of empathy, if they showed any kind of sensitivity or compassion, they would be going against their narcissist. And they've learned that when I go against the narcissist, or I try to be something, be my own individual, or maintain my own freedom, then there's hell to pay. Then I am subject to narcissistic rage, a smear campaign, a whole host of abuses. And that narcissist has learned from a young age that they have to conform. They have to do and be in the exact same way that their narcissist was. So, but the problem is with this is the fact that narcissist, even though they know on an unconscious level that their behavior, that parent's behavior is wrong, they remain stuck in that place. They remain loyal to that narcissist. They don't get help. They don't seek counseling. They don't do any research on their childhood trauma because it's too much for them. So they rather be like that parent. They rather exploit others. They rather make other people pay for the things that narcissistic parent has done. Normally, men who were raised by a narcissistic mother will get with partners and punish their partners or their girlfriends or their spouses for the things that their mother has done. So they become women haters. They hate women. So the way that they want to treat their mother and the things that they want to say to her, they say to that girlfriend or to that spouse. And no, it's not fair. It's not right. And that's no way to treat someone that you claim to love. But because that narcissist has chosen not to take responsibility for their behavior, has not taken responsibility for what has happened to them, they pass that venom on to other people, and they traumatize their kids, their wife, their spouses, whomever, the people in their lives are. So that's why it's very important to realize that nobody is birthed a narcissist. When you have awareness that something in your childhood wasn't right, something, you have suffered abuse, you have suffered physical abuse, psychological abuse, mental abuse, and you're able to leave that house and you're able to leave that parent, It is our responsibility as survivors to go out and get the help that we desperately need. We need to go out and find a good therapist. We need to go and do the research or talk to other people who have gone through the same kind of abuse that we did. To remain stuck and to stay in this place of denial and acting like, oh, that my parent wasn't this way, or I deserved it, and this is something I got to deal with. You will most likely become a narcissist yourself, and that pattern has to be broken. You have to be the one to break that pattern. You can't continue this pattern to have, you can't continue this pattern, because what you're doing is you're hurting innocent people. Your children don't deserve to go through what you went through. You didn't deserve to go through what you went through, but your children don't deserve that. Your spouse doesn't deserve that. Your significant other doesn't deserve that. So this is why it's important for you and I'm going to give you an example of what I mean by taking responsibility. Taking responsibility means you're aware that your childhood was shitty. You're aware that these are things that happened to you as a kid that, that shouldn't have happened to you. So you take the steps on trying to figure out what those things are. And you try to go and seek a therapist. And a lot of therapists have free consultations. They have open. I mean, there's other places where you can go for free counseling. Just something. You're doing something to watching these YouTube videos. That is you taking responsibility for what has happened to you. You're not in denial. You're not making excuses for your abuser. You're not trying to be like your abuser. You are trying to do everything you can to heal. And you're risking that relationship with that parent. You're risking that relationship with your siblings. You're risking that relationship with other family members through the smear campaigns, through the slanders and things like that. You are willing to risk all of that, all of those relationships in order to heal. That is taking responsibility for your recovery. That is taking responsibility for your own journey and for what has happened to you. And trusting that you're going to get to the other side of this. You may not get to the other side of it today, you may not get to the other side of it tomorrow, but this is a journey. And this is and you are on your way to heal and to become a better person. And the more you continue to attempt to become that better person, you are going to become less and less and less and less and less like the narcissist. Your goal is to be so polar opposite of that narcissist. That narcissist has taught you and trained you to be just like them. And by you taking responsibility for your life and for your recovery, you are choosing to go against the grain. You are choosing to dig deep into your soul. You're choosing to find out who you are. You're choosing to find freedom and love your individualism. And that narcissist hates that. They don't like that. And you going and rediscovering who you are is showing that you are committed to yourself. You're taking responsibility for what has happened to you, and you're not constantly blaming other people for what has happened. I mean, it's the narcissist's fault, but you're not staying stuck in that blaming. You're not staying stuck in that bitterness. You're not staying stuck in, well, it's not fair. You're actively taking steps to move on and to heal and to be that person that you were always meant to be. So this was a quick video on how the narcissist is made and how the narcissist is created. It's just like an insecure person. The narcissist is, the insecure person does not come out of the mom's womb insecure or come out being codependent. These are developed out of trauma, childhood trauma, and you've had role models in your life that have shown you that being codependent is okay, being abused is okay, being being abusive is okay, and it's not. So just keep in mind that that this journey is going to take some time, but every moment of this journey is worth it. You will start to feel better about yourself. You will start to feel more confident in how you relate to others. You'll start to feel a lot more joy in your life. There's going to be days where you're going to feel self pity. You're going to feel insecure. You're going to feel all of those things. But the key to real recovery and real healing is to not stay stuck there. When you're stuck in that place of insecurity and self-pity, you're not going to be a light to other people. You're not going to be the person that you've always meant to be, the person God has created you to be. The narcissist wants to keep you quiet. The narcissist wants to stifle your experience, and that's why he or she gaslights you and tries to deny your reality. Because when you start speaking and you start telling your story, you're being a light to other people. Just you telling your story, and you're not denying what has happened to you. You're helping thousands and thousands of people who have experienced narcissistic abuse. So please stay tuned for more videos. This is Kevin Murphy, and I hope to see you soon.